What is your forgiveness barometer like? How susceptible are you to forgiving someone who has wronged you? Whether it was recent, whether it was small, whether it was something that happened in your childhood, something that has impacted you in your adulthood, something that runs very deeply. Are you able to forgive? I didn't say forget, but are you able to forgive? In Matthew, it talks about forgiving your brother. And if your brother has sinned against you, to go to your brother and to tell your brother what your brother has done. And if your brother does not listen to you, then you go and get one or two witnesses and take them to your brother so that they may be witnesses unto what it is that you are talking about. And then if your brother still doesn't listen, and in this case, I won't just say brother, I'll say whomever, your brother, your sister, whomever. If that person then still does not listen to you, then you are to go to the church and you are to tell the church about it. And then if that person does not listen to the church, then you just throw that person away. You just cast that person away. Now, I'm just going to be very honest and I'm just going to speak very truthfully. I'm not going to the church. I'm not going to the house of the Lord, and more than likely, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. Myself, I'm not going to a whole host of people. It may be one, maybe two, it may be 10. I may not feel as though that's what I need to do, even though that's what the book says. And I believe in the book. I believe what the book says. But in talking about forgiveness, I want to put a little spin on that because here is talking about forgiving someone else for an act. But are we talking about us forgiving ourselves for the act, however the act played out? It could have been a situation where someone wronged you, someone said something to you that wasn't right, someone did something to you that wasn't right, and after your reflection, you feel as though you did not handle it in the way that you should have handled it. And a lot of times we think about, oh, I should have knocked that person out, or I should have cursed that person out, or something like that. No, it doesn't have to always resort to that. But when that situation presented itself, when you and that person are in that space and you reflect on whether or not you stood your ground in the way that is noble, in the way that does not jeopardize who you are at your core. Instead of you going to that person to tell them what they did to you, are you taking the time to talk to yourself about what you did to you? Because we have a part in that as well. If you did not handle it in the way that you believe was the best way, the absolute best way to handle that situation. And I say that because I had to have that conversation with myself. And I know you may say, man, are you talking to yourself? Yes. Yes. I'm talking to that inner man, that inner child that's on the inside of me, who has all of those traumatic memories. And I had to talk to him. I had to sit him down and I had to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being who you needed at that particular time. In whatever way I could have been or should have shown up, I'm sorry. Forgive me. You may think that this is something that is so out of the box and so crazy. But in order for you to love someone else, first you got to love self. Before you forgive somebody else, you need to forgive yourself in order to be able to forgive somebody else for your stuff. Or else you're going to take some residue with you going forward. And I guarantee you, you do not want that residue. So it may sound crazy. It may sound out the box. It may. But here, you are stepping outside the box to do something different and to do something better. And it takes some confidence to be able to do that. It takes some openness. It takes some transparency to be able to do that. It takes some honesty, some truth to be able to do what I'm talking about. Now, if you don't have that in you, then maybe, you have some more work to do before you attempt this step. But for those of you who have that ability, who, you're reflecting on your actions, you're wanting to be better, you want it to feel better, you want it to be authentic in who you are, and you want to cast those shackles, I suggest you try it. And see, here's the thing. This is a continuous process for me. So it very well could be a continuous process for you, but I dare you to start. Start identifying what those triggers are, what those traumatic experiences are. And you really, really dig deep into it and you identify what were my actions and what were the other person's actions. And you first look inward and you begin to forgive yourself. You speak to yourself and you tell yourself, I am sorry. And you forgive yourself and you step out of that and you move forward. Now, here's the thing. In terms of your brother, the Bible speaks that your brother may not listen to you and your brother may never offer you an apology, or your sister or your father or your mother, your cousin who molested you, whomever they may be, that bully that was at school who talked about your shoes or talked about the texture of your hair or the clothes that you didn't wear the latest clothes, whomever they may be, they hurt you. And you may never ever get to a place where you, number one, may be able to address it, or number two, be able to receive an apology from that person. And you have to rest in knowing that you may never get that. You may never get that. So if you're able to have that conversation with that person and you don't get that apology, then before that, don't even go in with the expectation of getting the apology. You go in with the expectation of sharing your truth without any expectation of getting anything in return. If you get it, that's just icing on the cake. But if you don't, you're able to move forward. So on today, begin the process of drilling down what your traumatic experiences are and begin first to forgive yourself. That is the first step to self-healing, to getting to a place of reconciliation within yourself. All right? I challenge you today to take this time, days, weeks, months, years, begin the process of forgiving yourself. This is all I have for this week. Thank you for those of you who are continuing to support me in getting this message out. I really appreciate you. Let's get this message out. Click share, click like. Let's get this message out. Really appreciate you. Let's, make our world a better place, because we know that we need as much positivity as we can have. All right. Thank you all. Be blessed. Have a good one.